Easy troop, it's Unders. In today's video we're going to check out the Joe Ceccarelli vocal strip plugin from IK Multimedia. It's an interesting and very individual approach to a vocal channel strip compared to what we're used to, laid out in kind of an odd way as well. So let's just break down the GUI and how that works for us. So two big red controls, input and output. That's relatively standard. Do they need to be these massive sliders on this GUI? Probably not, but they're there and that is what they're there for. We've got this nice reset switch, which is good. It's always going to reset to the original default. So don't be misled by that. The little star up here lets you know if that has happened. For example, driven hard vocal, reset, little star. We've then got a HPF, so a nice high pass filter, straight away just to roll low ends, purely aimed at vocal here, so there's not a low pass filter, and it just goes from 20 Hertz all the way up to 250 if so desired, and by default it loads on 30, which, you know, in most cases that's going to be fine. Then got a de-esser. It's purely like a threshold, so the more we push it in, the more it de-esses. A little green indicator will show it's de-essing. So just play this back. Now me personally, I would like a frequency slider down here rather than A and B, but the A and B is 6.4K and 7.6K respectively. Me personally, I'd like a little frequency dial, but that is what it is. Today's video is sponsored by DistroKid. If you're looking to get your music out to all of the major streaming and download platforms at a price an independent artist can easily afford, check out the description for a discount on your first year today. Now then, this middle section, this is the most interesting bit to me. We've got 3 sets of parallel compression, and they're all named main, parallel, retro and heavy, for example, and they're all modeled on different bits of hardware, but then broken down to this really simple of amount of how much compression we want, and then the output for the output gain. Now by default I would like it to load up at 0 and the outputs be at 0, but they load up with some compression in to get the plugin working straight away, and the outputs at 1.5. Yeah, so I'd like something more like that, where it's just in right off the bat with nothing in, and then we can dial them in as we like, but it's in like this. Now, just following on from those 3 compression options that we've got in there, we've got a simple EQ. These are nice, big, broad sweeps, right? Air and body, high shelf, low shelf, kind of the simplest way to look at it. Now, this presence works both ways, so it's bipolar. If we push it up, it's got a Q relation for the sort of upper mids, and we'll push those up. If we take it this way, it's got, again, a linked Q option, so it's going to dial down with that and give us either a boost or a cut.
Oh, look what you've done to me.
Depending on the tone you're going to go for. Then we've got the pre-post switch as well, so we can do pre-compression or post-compression. By default it's on pre, which again, interesting to me that it's laid out this way, and we've got our compressors and then we've got our EQ. By default maybe I would save it so it's on post, so we're naturally working from left to right. Depends on how you like to work. An option to just turn it off or have it default load in as flat values. Here we are. We've got a really nice reverb module built in, which is quite nice, with some AB modulation swaps and reverb type. It's actually a really nice sounding dialed in vocal reverb. Now, so I've got it in a huge amount there, but it's really, really subtle and just sits nicely. A bit too much up at 10, but 8 is, you know, viable. The size can get a bit ridiculous. But back's quite nice. We've got a different reverb type with B. So after that, we've also got an echo with very simply the feedback amount and a timing synced to the DAW. And we can also switch that out for a different feel as well. A being a tape delay and B being a ping pong delay.
Oh, look what you've done to me. Oh, look what you've done to me.
Lastly, we've got where this whole thing really comes into its own, wet-dry control. So we can actually really push everything with this, but balance it in as much as we need. Now at the minute for me, it's just far too much, but it is giving some nice tonality, especially if we apply a little bit of this next control, drive. See, what I'm going for in this track idea is like this sampled kind of vocal chorus sound, which is why we're using that particular sample here, and adding that little bit drive gives that feel to it, and we can add a little bit of colour to that as well. Now with everything else pushing into it as it is, it's kind of a nice sound, but it's overbalanced a little bit much and it's over compressed. If I was to then use the wet dry control and dial that back even further, I'm thinking as far back as 30%. I've got those effects and that tonality all squished in there with the original as I had mixed it as well. And now we've got a much nicer tone. If I just A and B that, listen to the vocal as I had it, and then when I introduce this, it doesn't drastically change it, but it kind of lifts up what I would describe as the body of the vocal just comes up a little bit, but all that top tonality and bounce around in levels and its dynamics all get retained. I hope you can hear that, especially when it's taken away, just how much difference it makes, even though we're only using 30% of this signal with that drive and the extra bit of reverb added in to give it some feel and tonality. In the context of the mix, because, well, that's where it's most important. It's not going to affect me in isolation. I want to hear how this sounds within the context of the mix. Overall, it's a pretty useful plugin. I'm not a huge fan of the default preset, instantly applying loads of compression and level. And I think like these input controls could literally be like a small dial like we've got for the compressor, just in, say, this first module here, and reduce all of this. But I get the stylistic opinion and view they've gone for as well. Overall, useful plugin. It's not going to be the be all and end all, get the perfect vocal in my opinion, but the reverb unit is really nice. The drive unit's really nice, and the 3 layers of compression just helping everything lift up and being easy to dial in is a nice touch as well. I hope that's been helpful for you guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.